Hey guys, Daniel Little here again, and today I'm going through how I like to structure a workout program. So if you came in, whether you're joining our group class or if you're a one-on-one client or if I'm creating a program for you, this is pretty much how I program, and I believe it's the most holistic way to get you from point A to point B, okay? So first off, you've got day 1, day 2, and day 3 workouts. Now, it doesn't matter if these are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if you want to do 6 workouts a week, or if you want to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever combination of it, they still need to follow this order because it's the most logical order for general health and fitness. And the only real time that I would change this up is if you don't have any muscle imbalances and your primary goal is just to get on stage in a bodybuilding competitive world, then I'd probably change it a little bit. But for everybody else, this is going to be good enough. So I'll repeat that again. For 98% of the population out there, this is how you want to be training, okay? So day 1 needs to be our posterior chain. Now we live in an anterior dominant world. That means everything on the front of my body is your anterior chain, right? And we live in an anterior dominant world. So my hip flexors are tight, my chest is tight, and that leads me to this position, right? We all have lower back pain or neck pain because the front is so tight. And I've been privy to that information thanks to my years as a therapist of fixing people. There is a symptom and there is cause. Treat the cause and the symptom goes away. Stop treating the symptom because the cause doesn't go away, right? So working on the posterior chain. So you've got your deadlifts, your seated row, and your lat pull down. Okay, now they're the big muscles on the back of the body that are going to pull your posture up nice and tall. Okay. From a weight loss point of view and also from a muscle building point of view, so it doesn't matter which which path you're taking. If you're a dude wanting to get bigger, if you're a dude wanting to get smaller, if you're a chick wanting to get toned or a chick wanting to lose weight, I would still train you this way. Always use a little bit of legs because your legs are big muscles. The more fatigued, the more often they are, the central nervous adaptation you're going to have and the muscle adaptation and the calories you're going to burn, okay? So it's wonderful, okay? I'm not talking about getting big and bulky like Arnold Schwarzenegger, although I would still use the same program, just with very small tweaks. These are the fundamental recipes to your sponge cake, right? And then from your sponge cake, there's anything that also you can make, okay? Whether it's Lamingtons or who knows what, but that was a weird ass example, so stick with me, thanks. Your seated row, okay? They're the big muscles on your back. They're gonna keep your posture nice and tall, and your lat pull downs. Now, day 2, again, it doesn't matter if this is Tuesday. It doesn't matter if this is Tuesday or if this is Monday or if this is Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm struggling with my days, aren't I? I'm sorry. Doesn't matter. Priority 1, priority 2. Okay, day 2 is your anterior chain. Now this is your squats, your bench press, your shoulder press, okay? But also your seated row, because you can't have a strong chest without a strong back. So on day 1, I might do HAF, heavy as seated rows, but on my day 2, I'm doing lighter seated rows because it's about keeping my back nice and active. Okay, so you've got heavy bench press and I'm doing lighter seated rows. So I might do sets of 15 instead of sets of 10, but being a little bit lighter. Okay, that's gonna help my bench press. The amount of people, a young guy comes into me and he wants to get his bench press up, and just by strengthening his back, his bench press goes up 15, 20 kilos, something like that. People neglect their back. You've got to have a strong back, okay? Now, day 3, is both your rehab and your aesthetics. So a lot of people that come in to see me, they've got muscle imbalances that we need to correct, whether it's poor posture or if it's scoliosis or whatever the issue might be. Even if someone in hospitality walking around, I was in hospitality, I've got a knot right here from years of carrying around a waiter's tray with all my glasses on it that I don't have on this side. So when I'm doing bicep curls, I hit a sticking point here more often. That's taken me a long time to really get on top of that. Anyway, enough about me, more about you. Okay, so with your aesthetics, now someone is going to be driven to come in and focus on their aesthetics because if you want a better booty or if you want nicer arms or if you want better posture, then you're going to focus on it. So if you're not allowed to do this until day 3, it's kind of like making the kids eat their veggies first before they can have their chips and their meat, right? Gives them incentive to get through the stuff that they might not like as much and then you get rewarded on your third day with the muscles that you really care about, okay? And of course, rehab, well, most people's position of rehab, unless it's a left and right imbalance, which would require a little bit more massaging to get really perfected for you, but most people are just need rehab anterior chain to posterior chain, right? Which is why you're hitting your back 3 times a week, or twice a week, depending on what your specific goals are. But right, let's say my rehab, I've got really bad shoulders, okay? So I'm hitting my shoulders here. I'm doing my seated row here. Here I would do wide grip overhand rows, which are the exact opposite of my bench press is this position. Wide grip overhand rows is this position, right? And then seated row, this one, I might do either my close grip or my vertical handle this particular way. But that's getting a lot more into specificity. I'm trying to stay more generalist, but it's still gonna work for 90% of the people that I train. And this is the fundamentals, and then I'm just tweaking a little bit depending on what your specific goal is, or what your specific need is, or what your specific imbalance is, right? Posterior chain, anterior chain, day 3 is your aesthetics and your rehab, okay? So if you want bigger arms, you're gonna hit them here, but you've also hit them here and here in a different way. So it gives you an incentive to get through all 3 workouts. Now, coming down here, I believe the camera can still see that, that's good. Now, depending on what your training age is, if you think of what the difference of a 3-week-old baby can do versus a 3-month-old baby can do versus a 3-year-old baby can do, it's quite different, isn't it? So if you've never been to a gym before, you need to acknowledge that you are an infant, right? You are just out of the womb, you have no idea what you're doing, and you're one of the reasons why I like this analogy is because when it comes to rehab, if you've got a very young or an immature muscle that hasn't really been developed, waiting for the garbage truck to go past, then it's not going to be able to focus for very long before it starts to skits out, right? So a lot of people, they have a hypertonic muscle which is really tight, and there's not much you can do before it starts to spasm and get angry, right? That's why some people, they might do deadlifts, and yeah, they might do the deadlifts the wrong way, but also if they're not focusing on rehabilitating their body properly, and they've overtrained one muscle which already does too much work too much, you know what I mean, thank you, then it's going to spasm and have a little fit, right? Imagine that kid on the floor of the shopping says, I want more trays, why can't I have my roll-ups or whatever it is, right? So that's when a muscle spasm will flare up worse than you would like it to, because the muscle's exhausted. So understand that different muscles are going to have different limitations of what you can ask from them. And that's also why our personal training sessions, they don't have a defined time limit, because what if your muscle hits its fatigue level at 28 minutes? Or what if we're doing very intricate work and I need that extra 15 minutes, so we push it out to 45 or 50 minutes, because the muscle we're focusing on needs that time and attention. Right? You can't just, the body's too dynamic to just fit into a half-hour time slot or a 45-minute time slot. You got to start realizing the body's dynamic, your needs are dynamic. Okay. Anyway, I digress. So week 1 to week 4 or 6 is really about creating your foundation, okay? And that's when you're going to be doing 15 reps. You do three sets of 15 reps for maybe the first 3 to 4 weeks, okay? Then you'll be going to 5 sets of 10 and start building up that strength as we come into the strength phase here. Weeks 4 to 6, depending on your history and how much you need. Because I'm sure you've heard of that quote, it takes 1,000 hours or 10,000 hours or 10,000 repetitions to master something, right? So you're trying to master your body. The quicker you can get those repetitions up, your count number, total count number, up into the thousands or tens of thousands, the quicker you're going to master that movement, right? So that's why in your beginning phase, you do lighter weights, much higher repetitions, and you're just trying to build up that muscle memory, which I don't like, it's overused term, but you're getting that movement pattern up. Okay. Then once the movement pattern is starting to create that groove, think of like that grass field, and everyone cuts the same corner. So that little bit of grass is now a dead track because no one's sticking to the path. You know what I mean, don't you? Okay, cool. Excuse me. Okay. So then you're going into a strength phase. Now this is about getting as strong as possible, so that the body can really do something with its newfound strength. Okay. Now, if you're trying to lose weight, then it's about getting the body strong so you can lift heavier, so you can completely fatigue the body more, and then your body's chewing up more calories. And that's when you become a fat burning machine, even while you're asleep. Or if your job is trying to get bigger and stronger, think like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Thor or something like that. The dude wants big arms. Well, the stronger he can be, excuse me, he builds up his strength, and then he can use that strength to get better results when he comes through to hypertrophy. So it doesn't matter if you're losing weight or gaining muscle, this is still the best way, in my opinion, to get going. So they build up the strength, and then it's really only in week 13 and 16. Now, of course, you could have joined a 12-week challenge and you would have lost lots of weight, but that's a whole nother video, because you're gonna yo-yo, and that's why you keep doing shitty 12-week challenges, and that's why Invictus 5 here is different, okay? But once you have created this foundation, then that's when you can really step off into your customized program, which might be a weight loss program, which might be a size and tone building program, right? So whether it's hypertrophy or weight loss, I should have there, which would then be your next phase from week 13 or 16, depending on how long that strength phase, which depends on how long your foundation phase took. And then you need to go into a deload. Now, I highly recommend a deload, or just something to change it up. So what I usually do, so let's say I'm in a weight loss phase, or still my strength phase, or my hypertrophy phase. It wouldn't really matter which one, but I've been lifting, say, 5 sets of 10 for the last few weeks or months, and I'm starting to get used to it. Now, familiarity breeds contentment. That's one of the reasons why you want progressive overload with your workouts. You also want variety, okay? So you're gonna smash your chest in a bench press, but some weeks you'll use a bar, some weeks you'll go incline or decline, some weeks you use dumbbells. It's always constantly different, even though it's the same muscle that's getting used, right? Then in our deload phase, then I would do 2 sets of 50 at a much lighter weight, because of course you can't lift your PB for 50 reps, that would be nearly impossible. So you've got to be considerably lighter, but you're getting a lot more repetitions out, and you're doing only 2 sets of that. So you've got 100 reps instead of 5 sets of 10 previously, which is 50 reps, but this was at a really heavy weight. This is at a much lighter weight, and it's creating a different lactic acid burn and a whole bunch of different other things that are going on. And it's just going to be enough of a shock to your body that it then has to adapt for that. And then when it comes back into the next strength phase, or whatever your next phase is, which would, for me, would be either strength or back into hypertrophy, just gives that body that nice little bit of active recovery rest, so then you can come back in and really give it a good smashing. Now, my videos start to take long. I'm trying to be really quick. I'm sorry for you, but there's so much good content I want to share with you. Okay, so now the last particular phase. Not in week 1 to week 3. If you can see this red one here, that's a rehab, okay? Now, the reason why rehab is in there, because once you start to get to know your body, you're gonna start to see muscle imbalances, whether they are left and right, front and back. You're gonna see that when I'm lat pulling down, this shoulder sits up because I don't know how to activate my scapula and rhomboids to hold it back and down. Or when I'm bench pressing, you're gonna keep seeing that this pops up, right? So that's when you'll start to become aware of your body, and that's really also your rehabilitation phase, where you dive deep into where the muscle imbalances, where's the tension, where's the weakness, and then strengthen the weakness, stretch out the tension, right? Creating a relaxed body, equilibrium, homeostasis, whatever the word you want to use. So your rehab would be halfway through your foundational week and just dipping into your strength phase, but you're also starting to knock the door of really heavy in the strength phase. Okay, now coming back down into how many sessions per week would be. Well, during my form building, I haven't done much exercise in the past, so I don't want to be too sore. This is another thing, people dive in the deep end, they hit really hard sessions 5 times a day. They want to train every day of the week, and by the end of the week, they can't move and they hate it, and they're more likely to fall off the bandwagon. I've told you before, dip your toe into the hot bath and eventually get used to it. If they saw the iceberg in time, they could have just turned 1 degree and the the Titanic would have never crashed and burned, right? Drowned. You know what I mean? Okay, so for the first really 4 to 6 weeks, I want 3 sessions a week of lifting weights. By all means, go for a walk, go for a swim. Active recovery is fantastic. On your 2-3 days off, go for a jog, a walk, or a swim. And understand, if it comes to weight loss, that's a whole nother video again, running isn't the best way for weight loss. But it is about keeping active a little bit every day. I wouldn't say though that your understanding of programming is at a high enough point for you to do half an hour of exercise every day without that accumulated fatigue really starting to something up by Friday, right? So 3/7, allow your recovery days, but keep active on those recovery days. Even if it's kicking a football, playing French cricket, go for a jog along the beach, or a swim, as I said. Swimming in water is so underrated, it's fantastic for the body. Now, when I get into my strength session, I want to be 4 sessions a week. This is about, of course, you can get away with 3, you can get away with 5, but about 4 sessions a week. You've built up that foundation, now you're putting on the next layer on the foundation. You really want to fatigue the body, plus also your programming. You want to be doing day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, right? You'd have a day off in there. So let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday's off, Thursday, Friday, right? That's how you would start to be going during this phase. Now in your hypertrophy phase, that's the only time that I would change this. If a dude really wanted to get bigger, then I would be changing this program up just to get you a bit better return on investment, but this would still work completely fine. If your focus is weight loss, then this would be absolutely fine. If your focus is just about keeping active and fit, then this would be absolutely fine. It is only if a dude wants to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or specifically get big arms or shoulders or whatever that might be, look like Thor, where I would change this up. And I don't mean to be sexist, of course, a woman can look like Thor if she wants to. Then I'd be doing 5 sessions a week. And then your deload, you're really only doing 3 sessions a week because you're doing 2 sets of 50. So Monday would be your anterior chain, you're doing 2 sets of 50. Wednesday would be your posterior chain, you're doing 2 sets of 50. Friday would be back to your anterior chain, and then Monday, and then Wednesday, and then Friday. And then you've done 3 workouts of each, 2 sets of 50. You're well recovered, your body's got a very different burn in it, and then you're ready to start the next strength phase or your hypertrophy phase, whatever it is. So that's pretty much how I program, no matter what your goals are. And then the only things that I need to tweak is if you've got rehabilitation that we need to focus on, or when it comes into week 13, what your specific goal is, whether it is to get as big as possible and very aesthetically pleasing, or if it's about losing weight and being aesthetically pleasing, or if it's just about keeping active and fit for the rest of your life. That's pretty much it. If you've got any questions, feel free to comment below or send us an email. Daniel from Invictus 5. Be good to yourself because you two will be together for a while.